Stafford Sports Challenge for GT and sports cars, and by gee, what dynamite machinery, Evan Green.
The most powerful cars you'll see assembled on the grid at any Australian circuit. And on the front row, two monsters of contrasting style. The imported Porsche from America, the John Fitzpatrick racing car, and the J. David racing outfit to be driven by Alan Jones. That's the car on the left, the blue and white car alongside from Queensland. That's Alan Jones in the Porsche, reputed to have 880 horsepower in the tail of this car, twin turbos, alongside Bap Romano.
Bap Romano's complaining because he's only got 385.
Well, he has the 3-litre Cosworth motor, a car built in Queensland, and Bap comes from there. Watch him drive, though. He's a great driver. Number 7, Peter Brock, in the car that was demolished at the Adelaide meeting, 3 months ago? The Bob Jane Monza. Right. And alongside...
Yeah, here's a car we didn't see yesterday, yes, alongside Brock.
That's right. The Italian driver, Giampiero Moretti, makes Momo wheels. If you've got a special steering wheel in your car and it's a Momo, here's a man who makes them, and here's a man who made a millionaire. He missed the race yesterday when the battery went flat on the dummy grid and couldn't make the start of the race. Alongside, or in the next row rather, Tony Edmonton, former Australian Sport Sedan champion in the Alfa Romeo with a 6-litre Chevy V8 engine alongside him, and alongside him on the grid is the turbocharged BMW of Jim Richards, 1.8 litres of turbocharged 4, and we have the camera in the car, and that's the view that you'll get along with Jim Richards as you take part in this 15-lap race, the Stafford Sport Sedan Challenge. Further back on the grid, car number 3, Rusty French in the Porsche that Alan Jones drove to such great success last year, winning every race in the Australian Sports Sedan GT Championship. And alongside him in car number 10, John Briggs, another BMW Turbo. Car 17, Brian Thompson in the Mercedes-Benz sports car. Alongside him, Bob Jolly in car 12 for Tirana. Quickly through the rest of the field, Ray Hanger in 24, Tony Hubbard in 15, Robin Doherty in 18, John Lusty in 44, John Goulet in 6, Larry Cogg in 90, and at the tail of the field in car 4, Alan Brown.
Off on the warm-up lap.
These cars competed in one race yesterday. Alan Jones won from, that's Alan weaving to put them, walked into the tyres, and he won from Peter Brock in the Monza and Bap Romano in the car on the right, the white Cadicia. Rusty French driven off the track quite deliberately, I say. Something wrong with the car. He's still got it going, maybe trying just to hobble back to the pits. That's bad luck for him at such a late stage in the race, but I'd say he was out of it. The car's just weaving around the back of the track at the moment towards Qantas Corner. And the tyres were very important. Speaking to Peter Brock afterwards, he said Alan Jones won because he had a better choice of tyres. Rusty French wants more than tyres. I think something wrong with the motor at the back, something in that rear end of the car. He is certainly out of the race, and that'll be of sheer frustration for Rusty French. The biggest race of the year in terms of audience and interest, and he's out of it, and he would be fuming, having done so well in the other sports and GT races during the year. Well, Alan Jones can't be happy with the amount of temperature in the tyres. He's really weaving it down this main straight now, trying to put some heat into it. Rusty French, he's got some heat in himself. He does look upset, doesn't he?
Oh, it's been a short outing for Rusty, and he will be very unhappy indeed because he prides himself on performance. I'll talk about performance. You'll see it from the top 3 or 4 cars on the grid here. There's again the race cam picture out of the BMW as he draws up to take his place on the 3rd row of the grid alongside Tony Edmondson, immediately behind Moretti and Brock, and up ahead of him on the front row, Alan Jones in the Porsche 935.
Choice of tyres critical. I notice that Romano's now running on Avons. Jones is on Goodyears. Can't quite see the brand on Peter Brock's car.
He's got Romano's car, of course, is a Cadicia, an Australian-built machine.
Much lighter, built to a more advanced formula. The green flag goes. Side by side, Romano makes the best. He's away first, and he's getting in front of Jones, trying to move over. Jones says, hang on, fella, I'm around, and the great power of the Porsche suddenly comes to light. Look at Moretti coming up in 3rd spot as well. The red car just trying to shovel Brock out of the way. Brock stays on the inside, though, and puts Moretti out of the way, and Brock into 3rd place, Moretti back to 4th. But it's this man leading the race. The 1980 world champion, Alan Jones, in front. Behind him, Romano, the little white car bobbing up and down, with Brock trying to come up on the outside. Moretti goes on the inside of Brock, takes 3rd spot again. So it's Porsche 1, Porsche 3, and Cadicia in 2nd spot, Monza 4th. You can follow that. If you can't, it's Jones.
Romano in 2nd spot, and really desperately trying to clinch a second spot too, because
There's
he
a car
doesn't
spinning
have...
there. Edmonton has spun. Edmonton has spun. He gets off the track without being clobbered. He's going around the marker there to come back on the track. But Tony Edmonton, the Tasmanian, in the Alpha, is a long way back, giving the field an enormous start. Only the Clark and the Causes car behind, and this man to catch half a lap away.
The Khadija of Romano doing a remarkable job, you know, to try and stick with Jones. He's pulled away from Moretti and from Brock. Hasn't got the same straight line speed as the big Porsches, but by gee, it corners phenomenally well, doesn't it, the Khadija?
You look how he drives. He's a man of immense heart. His Grand Lusty gone off the track in his Celica. This is the Khadija, built in Queensland, built to race at circuits like Le Mans in the 24-hour race. Giving away almost 500 horsepower.
Was the standing lap time.
Just can't keep up with the Porsche when Alan Jones winds it up, but he does go fast around the corners. Mind you, so does Alan Jones. John Fitzpatrick, who won Bathurst back in 1976 with Bobby Morris, is now resident in California, runs the J. David racing team with these Porsches. Flew this car across. The price we hear is about $14,000 in air freight. Flew it across for Alan Jones to drive here today, and it's to run next weekend in the Humes Guardrail Adelaide Trophy meeting at the Adelaide International Raceway. This is Moretti, the Italian who,
under very strong pressure from Peter Brock too.
He builds Momo wheels. The choice of the name's interesting. The first MO is from his name Moretti, the second MO is from Monza. Right now he's at Calder, probably wishing he was at Monza, where the Porsche going through now would probably be going quicker, but still he is in front of Peter Brock and doing a good job for his first visit to the circuit here. The car does look different in shape to the Porsche that Alan Jones is driving. Weaves a bit there. There's a homegrown car, a Chevy Monza, an American car to start with, but the modifications are purely Australian. Peter Brock driving hard. Look at him working at the wheel, trying to catch up. He's got about 600 horsepower, the big Chevy V8. He is quick around the corners, which is surprising. Can't quite keep up with the twin turbocharged blast from the Porsche on the long straight. Let's see how they go. Moretti puts his foot down, and you can see the Porsche just pulling away. Now Brock's got to do it under brakes. Brock loves driving this car.
Alan Jones continues to lead the race with 10.5 laps remaining. There he is, heading down the back straight into Qantas Corner, and has widened the gap now between himself and Bab Romano and the Khadija.
Jim Richards in the turbocharged BMW. That's the view he's got, that's the view you've got. We've turned the camera, he didn't turn the car. Don't go running out of your living room. Brian Thompson is just in front of him in the Mercedes-Benz, the Shepparton entry. Jim Richards, probably the smallest engine car in the race, turbocharged. And people think, well, listen, turbo should do better, but he's also up against turbos of much larger capacity, those Porsches, for instance.
This is the view coming down the main straight.
Brian Thompson has that Mercedes cracking today. He's really got it going. There's a puff of brake smoke from the white car just in front there. He goes inside the Mercedes, as does Jim Richards. Thompson went a bit wide there.
That's his other BMW.
That's Briggs in front, yes. John Briggs, the South Australian driver in the other BMW. Jim must have had trouble early on to be so far back in the field. His practice time was quicker, but he certainly was delayed early in the race to be back with Thompson and Briggs. Now he has Briggs to get by his old car. In the meantime, the race still being led by this man, Alan Jones, passing the rather forlorn side of Rusty French's car, the car that he drove last year, parked in infield.
Also passing some of the tail enders now too, Alan Jones.
And talking of tail enders, a brilliant recovery being staged by Tony Edmonton, who's back up there almost on Jim Richards' tail. We might see that a little later on. But in the meantime, this is the order of the field. It's Alan Jones in the Porsche, leading Bab Romano in the Khadija.
2.63 seconds is the margin between first and second.
Giampiero Moretti, the Italian, in a Porsche. Peter Brock in the Chevy Monza. John Briggs in the BMW. And we've got Brian Thompson there. In actual fact, he's just been passed there by Jim Richards to put two BMWs, 5 and 6, in the leaderboard. The car that Alan is driving, you can see the typical flare of exhaust fire from the turbocharged engine. Nothing wrong with the car, they just do that. The car he's driving is quite extensively modified by John Fitzpatrick, or Rob Jolly pulling out towards the pits if he can. He's just hit the start of the pit row and he's pulling his Tirana in. He's been modified by John Fitzpatrick in the suspension so that the car doesn't bob and dip its nose under acceleration or braking as the previous Porsche did, and it's very stable. The track will unsettle it, but watch the way when he brakes how the nose stays stable. That means he can turn in more accurately. He can accelerate harder, knowing he's not going to lose steering. See, he accelerates now. 880 horsepower turned loose there, and the car is remaining flat and stable.
Jones circulating in just over 40 seconds, about 40.5 seconds per lap. That had put him on the respectable third or fourth row of the grid for the Australian Grand Prix.
If he could circulate that continuously in the Australian Grand Prix, he might win a turn.
Exactly.
He reckons he will in the race. He reckons he can circulate in the very low 40s, and over 100 laps, that could give him the race.
6 laps remaining for Alan Jones as he comes over the start-finish line this time.
This is such an important race for Alan Jones. He won his World Championship in 1980. He defended it in 1981 and lost to Nelson Piquet. There's Jim Richards still battling his way up through the field. Alan then retired, had a year out of it, came back and ran in the Porsche 935 last year for Alan Hamilton, won every race in Australia, ran a couple of events earlier this year for the Arrows team, and almost certainly will go back into Formula 1 next year, but needs a good result today in the Australian Grand Prix. He'll certainly get a good result though in this race, I'd say, because he's clearing out. Jim Richards in the meantime struggling very hard to make up ground. That's the view from inside his car, left-hand drive car. We just turn the camera a little bit. You can see what revs he's doing and watch the instruments, the turbo boost. He's got to watch that while he's watching the road, changing gear, doing the other things to keep a driver busy. You can see how his hands are working. He's a busy fella. The racing driver does earn his money. And there's Tony Hubbard parked across the track in a perilous spot. Another car that came into contact with him just weaving
Ray
over there.
Hanger. My gee, he's got a crooked hanger by the look of it.
Yeah, it's a little bit twisted there. Yes, you can see where they've got a bent hanger at the back, all right. The two of them have come into contact there. That's not a good place to be left. A bit of fiberglass across the track where the two of them did touch. Hanger now just trying to go back to the pits, get out of the way. His race is running. See the bodywork dislodged at the back and at a curious angle.
Hubbard's moving again out of that dangerous position at the end of the straight down at Valvoline corner.
We'll see if we can see that again.
Left something behind there when he drove away. That's part of Ray Hanger's car, I think. Let's see it again. If we can pick it up. Oh, just caught the tail end of it. There was, I think, a third car involved there that escaped unscathed.
The third one looks suspiciously like Alan Jones. There was a blue tail of a Porsche going through, and it's the only blue tail I know. They touched before. It may be seeing him come that one of them moved just a little bit to one side to give more room to Jones. Whatever it was, they touched in the braking area for Valvoline corner, and Hanger and the car behind, Tony Hubbard, both went out. It looks as though they may be going back to the pits together to have a conversation about the interpretation of the rules.
3 laps to go for Alan Jones, who's just passed the start-finish line, now goes to Valvoline corner and has a lead of about 65 metres over Bap Romano, the Queenslander in the Cadicia, and there's a huge dice still going on for third place between
Brock and Moretti.
Brock and Moretti, yeah. Brock's got him. Brock just squeaked through there on Valvoline corner to take over third place. He's been pursuing that now for 12 laps.
Moretti's Porsche looks so low, it almost seems to be an underground model. It seems lower than this one. It may just be the paintwork. Whatever it is, this is the car that's going. Alan Jones, 2 laps to go now, passing Brian Thompson's car, just lapping the Mercedes. Thompson, a very courteous as well as a very skilled driver, gets well out of the way and lets Jones go through. Jones now has Briggs just in front of him in the turbocharged BMW, the white car. Well, this will encourage Alan Jones, takes his motorsport seriously and wants people to take him seriously. A few are saying, oh, he's coming back, but is he still any good? Well, he's showing he's still top class. He's very fit too, Gary. I saw him during the week. He'd been up to surface as we just sit in the car with Jim Richards towards the closing stage of the race. Alan's lost quite a few kilograms of weight. Looks very strong and very fit. He's had 3 months of intensive get fit work up there at surface, and it really is a ball of muscle. Here's Jim Richards struggling through the field. He's in 5th spot.
Alan Jones is in front and he's on his last lap as well, heading down the general credits back straight towards Qantas corner for the last time. Just about 2 or 3 more bends and the race will be his. He still maintains that big lead over Bap Romano and the Canicia, and Peter Brock now holding down 3rd place ahead of Moretti. But it's all Alan Jones. Took out the first heat here yesterday in similar fashion ahead of Peter Brock, and is going to hand out the same treatment today to Bap Romano.
Romano, though, has driven a great race. Let's give him full credit. That's Hubbard back in the race, just trying to finish. But Jones will win. There's the checkered flag for Alan Jones, and Bap Romano will get 2nd spot. He is behind by about 500 metres. He goes across the line now. That white car, beautifully made Cadicia from Queensland. Here comes Peter Brock to take 3rd spot. Gianpiero Moretti from Italy is 4th in the Porsche. Those are the leading four. It should be Richards to come through next, and Tony Edmonton, who was put to the back of the field. A brilliant effort to bring the Alfa Romeo up into sixth spot. But they're the leading three: Alan Jones, Bap Romano and Peter Brock. Back with the action and a talk again to Alan Jones in just a few moments. Well, welcome back to Calder. The winners again of that last race, just to remind you, the Sports and GT's Alan Jones from Bap Romano, Jones in the Porsche, Romano in the Cadice, Peter Brock up into third place just ahead of the Italian driver Gianpiero Moretti in the Porsche. But there are the placings for the previous race. A good morale boosting win to Alan Jones to show he's lost none of his touch, and a great second place to Bap Romano, the Queenslander. Let's not forget the job that he and Cadice have done to put an Australian-made car up there among such contenders.
After the heat yesterday and the heat today, convincing winner on both occasions, Alan Jones. Where are you, Jones? Come on, son. Stop kissing the girls. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Two big wins yesterday and today, and you really spaced them.
Oh, well, a pretty good car, that helps.
Well, yeah. Well, come on, you're not that modest. There's always a good driver that helps too, isn't it?
Yeah, it helps, but, you know, the car's fantastic, and it's a car that's had 2 or 3 years of really intensive development, and John Fitzpatrick just flew it out from America 2 days ago, and I think an indictment of his preparation is we hardly had to touch it. We just took it off the aeroplane and put it on the track, and away she went.
I've never known Fitz to keep such a low profile.
Yes, it's a bit suspicious, isn't it?
Mr. Pat Swert is here from Stafford Ellenson to make the presentation.
Alan, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations on a wonderful drive in the Porsche 935 and the Stafford Sport Trophy.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Don't go away for just a moment, because Mr. Keith Marshall, the Managing Director of John Sands, is here also to make a presentation to you. You can use this.
Alan, on behalf of John Sands, great race and congratulations. You're a bit lucky that our driver dropped out there with a dropped gearbox, but I'm sure you'll be able to use our John Sands Sega computer to keep track of all your wins.
Thank you very much, and I'd like to take this opportunity to publicly thank John Sands for being the sponsor of this meeting. We need more people like him, and it's people like John Sands that sponsor not only Rusty French and his team of cars, but come to the support of this Grand Prix, and I thank him very much. And Stafford Sport, of course.
Okay, thank you very much to Stafford Ellenson, to John Sands, and particularly congratulations to Alan Jones, and also to the guys that filled the placings both today and yesterday. Bap Romano from Queensland, and of course from Melbourne, Peter Brock.